Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz. It is October 9th, 2021, Saturday. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcast. Okay, so first thing we're going to get into is the but for standard in law and applying that, and use allegedly, please, in all of this. So Mr. Perry apparently has gone into a courtroom and claimed that he's the victim of a crime. He's been called whack job, and apparently that hurt his feelings. Listen, so the BTK killed people. He trolled and he stalked and took lives and tortured and tormented. We've got a lot of information on here today about other victims of stalking. Okay, so here's BTK. He would first troll. And remember, we have a witness. Now, I'm going to speak to the judge that Charles is going before, claiming he's the victim. We've got a man who intentionally conceals material fact repeatedly, over and over and over. He did initially claim he was the victim of a political vendetta. There's no evidence of that. I'm very vocal about what I think. I don't hide what I think. I'm not afraid to say what I think. Well, there's no evidence of a political vendetta. I didn't do Texas legislation. I helped Mr. Perry get elected. I've been in politics all my life. I come from a family with power. My granddad was the power in the town where I grew up. Mr. Perry doesn't even know what that looks like. I lived in Vegas. I ran into famous people all the time. I met some of them. I know some of them. It's none of your business who those people are. But you don't have that. Where's the evidence of a political vendetta? Did you imagine it? Or did you just lie? Then he claimed that he was the victim of a false police report, but he had me arrested after having threatened that. I mean, there's emails and texts everywhere, all over the place, long before he had me arrested, where I'm telling people he's threatening death and false arrest. He knew I had to file a police report by law. But a week had gone by, he impeded the investigation. I lost my evidence. He degrades evidence. That's his habit. He obstructs justice. That's his habit. And he commits perjury all the fucking time. Okay, this guy was, there's two of these. One is Chandra Levy's mother said to the guy that at the time they thought killed the Chandra, fuck you. She has the right to say that. She's a victim of crime. This guy, one of the victims, said, you're impotent and you're weak and you're pathetic. And everybody thinks he's a whack job. Okay, when you provoke, when you commit a crime against somebody else and they call you a whack job, you're not the victim. Mr. Perry, judge, he's not a victim. He went into court and he lied. And he said he's the victim of a political vendetta. And there's no evidence to support that because there's not one. I didn't do Texas legislation. I did federal. He just got elected. I had 100 people I could call if I needed something. I didn't need him. You don't use the new guy. The new guy doesn't have any rapport yet. The new guy doesn't have any connections yet. I already had that. I didn't need him. That was a lie. We need him to come down on which one it was. Were you lying intentionally, or did you imagine it and at the time you truly believed it? Are you delusional, or did you just lie? You obstructed justice, and I lost my evidence. So did Mike Neely. He was not tested before he was given Narcan. You have a bad habit of degrading and altering evidence. But for you're stalking and you causing problem after problem after problem after problem after problem for me, you wouldn't be called whack job. Look at all these people. Do you call John Hinckley Jr. a whack job? He tried to kill the president, and he was upset that Jodie Foster wasn't impressed. That's whack job. You cause problem after problem after problem after problem for me. You come up here and you tell people we're in a relationship. These guys, I heard about it. I heard a recording of it. The guy said Charles Perry for 6 years has been in Oklahoma more than he's in Lubbock. You've established by law that you have abandoned your residency in Texas and you've established residency in the state of Oklahoma. Does Jackie know? Does she know? Somebody needs to tell her. Because you're up here so much. He's coming up. He's inserted himself into her life. He's living in a make-believe world. He's hanging out. He's been seen hanging out with her friends and family, hanging out with her coworkers, but he's never seen with her. He's told some people that's his wife. He's told some people they're engaged. He's told some people that's his girlfriend. And he's told some people that's his concubine. Depends on who he's talking to, and it changes every day. And the other guy said, if that's all you have to do to be married, I'm married to Jennifer Aniston. Shit, I'll watch her on TV. If that's all you have to do to be married is just say that's my wife, then Jennifer Aniston's my wife. That's whack job. If you don't want to be called whack job, don't do shit like that. It's been done before. You want to selectively prosecute me, don't you? You want to go into a courtroom, you want to provoke, and you want to harass, and you want to provoke, and you want to harass, and when somebody reacts to what you've done, you claim you're the victim. And you need to tell the judge the truth, Mr. Perry. You need to point out the fact that Mr. Neely had just received a police report from me because you fucked with my car. You fucked with my car. You threatened it way before. That was documented and documented and documented and documented. My oil was drained out. You know, I just topped off my oil. I check my oil every couple days. I had just topped it off. Last night I checked it again because that's what I do. It was empty. Second time you've had my oil drained out. After a recording of somebody saying, I can't get under her car, it's too low to the ground. You're fucking with my car. I had just filed a police report. Does the judge know this? Mike Neely took the police report. 6 days later, he's accused of murder that there's no way he could have committed. You need to listen. You're about to be prosecuted in a different courtroom. There's a judge that gives orders so they can investigate. Those orders are always granted. You're recorded and recorded and recorded and recorded and recorded. So don't you dare go into another courtroom and say you're a victim. You're not. You need to tell the truth. You have a bad habit of keeping me out of a courtroom. That's called concealment of material facts that could change the outcome. Your friend was recorded saying, any idiot can see she's telling the truth, Charles. If the jury had heard her say what I heard her say, Mike Neely would be home right now. I didn't know you had it in you to be that cruel. I heard the recording of it. I heard the recording of it. That judge that you go in front of and claim that you're a victim needs to hear it too. Don't be ignorant of the fact, Your Honor, because there's another judge who is not. Our guys dig. We don't say. We don't look at evidence. We don't do that here. We do it. We dig. Mr. Perry's in a lot of trouble. Mr. Perry, put your fucking doll down and act like a man. Please, for once in your life, act like a man. Take your skirt off. Wipe the lipstick off your face. Quit being a drama queen. Put your doll down. And be a man. 10 years, you're a rejected. You're rejected and rejected and rejected. I have 9 pages, Mr. Perry. 9 of you phone calls to my service because I don't have you don't call me. I don't want to take your calls, so I use a service. I got sick and tired of you trying to call me. That's harassment. 9 pages over the last couple of months of you trying to call me. I don't take your calls. Nor do I try to call you. I've tried to call Fabian. I've talked to Fabian, but I don't take your phone calls, and I'm not going to call you. 9 pages of harassing phone calls to my service. And I stopped because there were even more than that. I finally was like, it's 9 pages. I'm done for today. Mallory has them, Philip has them. You won't get them till it's time for court. When you go into a courtroom, sir, you don't lie and you don't conceal facts that could change the outcome. And I'm sorry you didn't like being called a whack job, but you provoked it. Just like he did. Just like John Hinckley Jr. did. Just like Rebecca Schaefer's stalker did. Just like Teresa Saldana's stalker did. Just like Susan Wilson's peeper did. You're a peeping Tom. That's a crime. Hacking is a crime. Voyeurism is a crime. Stalking is a crime. It's a crime because people don't like it when you do that. You're in trouble for the torment, the torture, and starvation of women and kids. My guys are going to get you on grand larceny with intent to coerce and conversion with intent to coerce because they've been working very hard. They've obtained recordings of you talking about taking my money. Mr. Robertson was just recorded. I need to make sure, I need to get her car so she can't work. We want her out of Oklahoma. And the guy said she can walk. She lives in a district where there's a lot of businesses. She could get a job and walk. And then you were recorded saying, well, maybe we need to get her, thinking that it's witness protection, and ship her off somewhere. Recorded. And recorded. And recorded. And recorded. And recorded. You don't get a date. You don't know how to attract a woman. You get caught, and you get caught, and you get caught. David, I don't know who the hell you are. If you're mafia, let me tell you something. You need to pay attention to how mafia does it in Vegas. They pick their battles wisely. They check into things. They'll look at what they're getting themselves into. You got a machine working with me. And that's why you get recorded too. A machine where there's millions, and billions of dollars poured into fighting what you're doing to me. Torture, torment, and starvation of women and kids. The sexual exploitation of families all over the net, all over the world. You're not a victim, Mr. Perry. Do not again go into a courtroom and claim that you are. I'm sorry you don't like being called whack job. Don't act like one, please. Believe me, I'd much rather you act like a man and go be normal than do the things that you do to me all day that provokes that response. But for you hurting me and taking my money and tormenting and tormenting and tormenting and bothering and bothering and bothering and doing every bizarro thing that is illegal, you wouldn't be called whack job. So don't go into a courtroom and act like you're a victim. You're not. You're not a victim. You're the listen, I moved twice to get away from you. I've done everything I could do to avoid a conflict with you. You are devastating people's lives. Does the judge know what you did to Mike? Did the judge look at the facts in that case and how you kept me out of that courtroom? How you tried to starve me to death so I couldn't help him? How you called my parents? Has a judge heard our recordings of you talking to Lynn and Kathy? Don't give her inheritance money. We need her to be broke so she'll take our bribe and lie. See, the judge you go before and claim that you're a victim hasn't heard all that. Our judge has heard it. Our judge is not going to be ignorant on fact. You're not going to conceal material evidence that could change the outcome of the deciding body. Not before him. Do you understand? Mr. Perry, I do not like hearing from you. No one has done more to catch you in your crime than me. I want to know the numbers. How many times were you caught before you met me, and how many times after? Those numbers are significant. I get that you're slow. You do not get a woman to like you playing with a doll. You do not get a woman to like you being tormenting and tormenting and tormenting and tormenting and bothering and bothering and bothering and butting in. Listen, you keep trying to tell me what you think and how you feel and what you need and you want to talk. I don't care. I don't care. I do not care. I've been out thinking you for a decade. Why the hell would I care what you think or what you feel or what you need? I'm sick of hearing from you. Don't contact me again. Don't. Because when you do, it pisses me off. My guys go at you harder, we get more. You're disturbing everybody. You're embarrassing everybody. Stop. You can't figure out how to get a woman to want you. You cannot even figure that out. It's not by tormenting. We all wonder what in the hell is he getting out of this? Because every day he does the same thing like a dog returns to his vomit. He gets caught and told on and recorded and caught and told on and recorded. And no woman wants you. Not I don't. You don't have a date. Ever. 10 years of this, Mr. Perry. Not one date. You're alone. And that's what the guy said. He's going up to Oklahoma and start acting like that's his girlfriend or his wife. It's different. Depends on who he's talking to. And they've never been seen together. She can't stand him. That's not a romance. That's crime. So if somebody calls you weirdo and it hurts your feelings, listen, what are we supposed to do? What you're doing is weird. It's outside social norm. It's deviant. And it's not just deviant, it's criminal deviant. So what happened? What are we supposed to do? You're not a really nice guy. You are weirdo to everybody else. That is weird behavior. You're provoking that response. You're getting everybody very, very frustrated with you. You got people that want to kick the shit out of you. Because when you torment and torture and torment and torture and starve and bother and cause one problem after another problem after another problem after another problem, people are going to start getting pissed at you and they're going to start calling you names, just like they did him. Impotent, weak. You can't control anything. You can't control yourself. You've got strange urges that are called deviant. They're outside social norms. They're weird. And the guy said it to the BTK. You want to put him in jail because he hurt the BTK's feelings? I know that's what you're trying to do. You kept me out of court over and over and over, including on Mike Neely's case, because you have a bad habit of committing perjury. You conceal material facts over and over and over that could change the outcome of the deciding body. There's no political vendetta, sir. And you went into a courtroom and you said there was, and you had no evidence, and that judge was inept and saying and not asking, I need proof that there's a political vendetta. You come in here and you're alleging a false police report. I need the evidence that it was investigated. Where's my evidence that that was investigated? She's not talked to a detective. You interfered with the chain of custody of evidence. And that judge should have questioned you on that. And the judge that you go before now, pretending like you're a victim, had better start asking questions. Where have you been? Where's your time spent? I need receipts. I need videos. I need you to prove what you're doing all day. Because there's allegations that you're harassing her and you're provoking. And then you're coming into my courtroom and claiming you're a victim. Because listen, judge, my judge is doing it. My judge is not going to be ignorant on fact. So, unless you want my judge to make you look like a fool in his courtroom, you better make sure you have all the facts in yours. And when Mr. Perry goes into court over and over and over and over and lies or suborns perjury as he did for Mr. Neely, and that man is now in prison for something he did not do, you got a problem with credibility. And you better start asking for evidence before you grant anything, because I promise you it will bite you in the butt later. That's what happens when you're ignorant on fact. If something comes out later, oh shit. Oh crap. I wish I had known. You better ask for the evidence, because Mr. Perry goes into court and claims things that aren't true. Where's he spent his time? We're gonna make him show that. In his case, in his criminal trial, he's gonna have to give an account for his time. He's not gonna have an alibi, and he's gonna need one. My guys have talked to him. Charles, I said you talked to 2 of them. All of you have. All 5 of you have. Undercover, you didn't know who you were talking to establish where you were and what you were doing. And you didn't know that's who you were talking to. How do you know it was only 2? How do you know it wasn't 6? See, you don't know. That's what good undercovers do. You don't know that's who you're talking to. So when you go into court, does that judge know that Mike Neely had not a mark on him? You can't beat a man to death with one hand. And that arrest report, did your judge that you go into court and say, I'm a victim. She called me whack job and it hurt my feelings. Never mind telling her what you did, or him. I think it's a her judge, right? Are you going in front of a female judge and lying again, Charles? You don't have a date. I don't want you. I never will. Write it down. I say the same thing every day. You're very slow. And you're really irritating people with the need to repeat the same thing over and over and over. You need to get checked for Alzheimer's. I don't want to hear from you. Stop contacting me. Put your fucking doll down and go be a man. Then you might get a woman to want you. Then you might get a woman to want you. You don't have that now. You're alone. Put the fucking doll down. Put the fucking doll down. Put it down and go be a man. Listen, you're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me. This judge that you go before and you act like you're a victim. Look, this right here. It's not legal, but I'm going to have her car towed and sold before she figures that out. And that was in August 2019 in Manford. You know, I top my oil off all the time. I check it all the time. Every couple of days. And I just topped it off. It was full. I go out there after there's a recording that you had some guy, I can't get under her car. It's too low to the ground. It was empty. There was no oil in it. My car's not leaking and it's not burning. And that's the second time you've done that. Had somebody drain my oil out. Stay the fuck away from my car. It's duly noted for the record in our court that you mess with my car constantly because there's hundreds of recordings of you talking about getting my car. The Duvals didn't get the phone call because of that right there. Write it down. You're caught. When you mess with me, you get caught. When you mess with me, you get caught. When you mess with me, you get caught. You pissed away $25 million plus for a cover-up you didn't get because you pissed me off. When you mess with me, you get caught. Mr. Robertson, I get everybody scared to death of you. I don't know if you're mafia or what. I don't care. I think you are. I don't care. These guys don't tell me everything. There's a reason for that. But I'm going to tell you something. In Vegas, the mafia is smart. And they're dignified. And they're smart enough to kind of look into things before they just jump in the pool. And pick their battles. And you clearly have no idea how to do that. You don't know. You got a machine after you. You are the one recorded saying, you were the one recorded talking to Lynn and Kathy. Don't give her inheritance money. I need her to be broke. We can't have her fighting us in court. Recorded, Mr. Robertson. How do we get her out of Oklahoma? Recorded, Mr. Robertson. Our judge heard it, Your Honor. It's been heard in a different courtroom. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mr. Perry's in a lot of trouble for the torment, torture, starvation, and sexual exploitation of women and children. Mr. Perry, you've been told I want a divorce for that fraudulent marriage license you've gotten. You signed my name to. There's been no vows exchanged. I don't like you. I moved twice to get away from you and not have a conflict. Lucky asked me about a forged marriage license. He asked me about it. And you know that because you asked me, you're trying to reach me. Look, right here. I can't get up under her car. It's too low to the ground. And then last night, I go check my oil, or yesterday afternoon, I go check my oil. Sure shit, it's empty. Dry as bone. I had just topped it off. My car's fine. Because I check it every couple of days. And it's been fine. Then all of a sudden it's empty. Oh, jeez. Yeah, and you did that in Manford, too. Because you guys have something wrong with you, going at my car all the time. I don't even... You're caught. You're always caught. Since you fucked with me, you get caught. Right? When you fuck with me, you get caught. When you mess with me, you get caught. When you mess with me, you get caught. When you mess with me... Write it down. I'm tired of repeating myself. Everyone is. You're making people angry at you because you're tormenting me. You're bothering me. I asked you don't contact me. I don't like it. I don't care what you think. I didn't ask you. What I asked you to do is don't contact me. Don't peep. Don't hack. Don't contact me. When you do, you get caught. You don't get a date. You're alone. You're not going to get a date. I can't stand you. You're weirdo. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but you're provoking that response. You're provoking it. Every victim of stalking, Your Honor, complains about the guy stalking. They call him whack jobs. They call him weirdo because they're acting outside deviant, normal social norms. They're deviant. Mr. Perry has a machine against him because he has broadcast us all over the internet, all over the world. And there's billions of dollars being poured into putting a stop to that. Mr. Perry, you owe me $1,000 a day for being entertained watching me in the privacy of my home. $2,000 a day for doing it without my consent. We're not married. And if you filed something, I said I want a divorce and half of what you own. I want it now. You don't get to put it off. You don't get to decide, oh, I'm not going to give her a divorce. I heard you say that too. That was recorded. I'm not going to give her a divorce. Yeah, you are. Because it's not a real marriage. It's fraud. You don't have a marriage. You have forgery. The guy said it. If all you have to do is go around telling people that's my wife, I'm married to Jennifer Aniston. I watch her on TV. I have to pay for it. Called cable bill. It's called, movie rental. It's not free. Sure, shit it's not in the privacy of her house either. You don't go around telling people you're married to somebody when they didn't consent to any such thing. I don't even like you. You know what? I've called Fabian. I don't call you. You can get a date because you can't figure out how to get women to like you. It's not torturing. It's not tormenting. And it's not taking our money. It's not starvation. Once you're in jail, Charles, and you will be soon, there won't be that anymore. I won't be broke probably ever again. I won't have somebody watching me in the privacy of my home against my will. I won't have unwanted contact from somebody who gives me the creeps. I won't be violated in the worst, nastiest way ever. And I'm working in a strip club. And men get grabby. Dave Robertson was one of them. But I'm at a different place. I'm not in my house. It's bad there. We can kick guys out for doing that shit. We decide this guy's too grabby. Shit, I gave a VIP one time for an hour. The man paid $400 for it. He got 15 minutes because he couldn't keep his hands, from places he didn't need, illegal to put them. 15 minutes into a 1 hour VIP that cost him $400. And after the third time I said, stop touching me there. Stop. He wouldn't stop. I said, we're done. Get out. You're doing it in my house. You're going to pay for the entertainment you're getting. You don't have my consent. We are not married. You're weird. And I have the right to say that like every other stalking victim does. You're provoking, but you're doing something illegal to me that's being heard in another courtroom somewhere else. You wouldn't be called weirdo if you weren't operating outside social norm, but for that, you wouldn't be called that. These are all the times that Mr. Perry went into a courtroom and said he's not contacting me in the forum state. He flipping lives here. Make him show you where he's been. Where all his time has been. He's abandoned residency in Texas and established it in Oklahoma. Your Honor, ask him to prove that or disprove that. Because it's going to happen in mine. My guys are doing it in their courtroom. You don't want to look like an idiot later, ignorant of the facts, do you? Look, there's all this stuff. There's Pinto. There's Mickey James. There's Terry Wagner. There's Dave Robertson. Contacts within the forum state of Oklahoma. And then 9 pages of phone calls. And then I finally just quit. There's more than that. Phone calls that went to my service that I won't take. There's Facebook spoofed accounts. My guys know exactly what you did, Mr. Perry. They're the ones digging. This morning you guys had a little plan, and I messed it up, didn't I? Because I heard it. So I changed my plans to get around yours. I do it all the time. It's almost daily. Your contact isn't wanted. Please stop, Charles. You don't have permission to peep and hack or contact me. Stop. You can't figure out how to get women to like you. Go see a shrink. Stop contacting me. Stop contacting me. I don't like it, and I'm tired of repeating myself. You don't get a date, you get caught. 10 years of that. $25 million didn't cover up anything. Your crime is more uncovered than ever. That's the results. And yet you do the same thing every day, like a dog chasing his tail. And we're going, what the hell is he getting out of this? 10 years and he has not one date, not one phone call, nothing. And he's more caught. Write it down. How many times were you... You're an accountant. Can you add and subtract still? How many times were you caught and told on before you met me? How many after? You're provoking and provoking and provoking. There's all these... There's Pintos. You have to click that link and you can hear it, Your Honor. There's Mickey James. Click the link and read the text from Mickey James. It might be worth it for the suspicion to be on Mr. Perry that was on Gary Condit after Chandra Levy died. I signed an NDA. You're not going to get there's not going to be charges in Oklahoma. Sorry. You got a rabid dog going around committing crime after crime after crime after crime, and he's just going to get away with it. And I said, yep, we're happy to make fools out of Oklahoma law enforcement if they're going to do that. Because somebody somewhere is doing it. I'm repeating what they just said. Mr. Perry wants to know, how'd you find out? Somebody somewhere is looking into it. Yeah, they want to look bad. That's their choice. They're grown men, grown women. They can do that. Everybody has choices. There's Terry Wagner's. I'm not even going to get to look at it, Judge. You want to dig. You want to make sure you know everything that you should know. Look at it. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm tired of doing everybody else's job for them. There's Dr. Russell. He does it to hurt you, to get attention, because he can't get attention any other way. Look at it, Judge. I'm not doing your work for you. There's Pinto. $5,000 couldn't even get you a date. Not even $5,000. Can't figure out how to get a woman to want him. And he has no cover-up. Lucky Miller asked me about a forged marriage license. I've still not seen it. The first 10 minutes of my conversation with this man was about that. Your husband sent me. I don't have a husband. I think you've got me mixed up with someone else. No. Your husband sent me. Listen, dude, I'm not married. Please tell me, who are you looking for? Give me a name or a description of the woman you came in here to see. I'm not that woman because I'm not married. No, that senator from Texas. Whoa, on went my recorder. That senator from Texas. And then here's this whole long conversation. 3 times he asked if I'm wearing a wire. 3 times. So he was worried about what he was saying. I'm good at what I do, Mr. Perry. You're a job. That's it. If you're going to go into a courtroom, you better have evidence, and the judge better be smart enough to ask for it, because our judge is, and your attorneys need to start explaining the law to you, because our prosecutor is about to do it for them. I don't care what you think. I didn't ask you. I said don't contact me. I don't like it. When you contact me, when you peep, when you hack, when you impose, when you burden, when you harass and torment and torture and bother and bother and bother, you don't get a date. You get rejected and you get caught more than ever in your lives. Robertson, I get that you're important over here. I get it. You're also caught. You're also caught. More than ever in your life. Try to figure out how to do mafia the right way. Have some dignity. Be smart enough to pick your battles. Sometimes you take on a machine that you can't overcome. Should have looked into that before. You're also caught more than ever in your life. And I'm sorry that hurt your feelings. I really am. Mr. Perry, I'm sorry it hurt your feelings when I call you a weirdo and a whack job. But that's what you're doing. You're acting like that to me. Every victim of stalking, you got to put every victim of stalking in jail who calls the stalker creepy or a whack job, because Google it. There's hundreds of YouTube videos and of articles and of Facebook pages, stalker groups on Facebook, where victims of stalking call their stalker whack job or weirdo or creepy. I've posted some of it on my personal Facebook page. It's been posted on this Facebook page. Gonna selectively prosecute me because it's little Charles Perry that got her feelings hurt. Is that how that works? But for me being watched in the privacy of my home against my will, but for Mr. Perry misrepresenting my relationship with him to everyone in Oklahoma that I know, but for Mr. Perry tormenting and tormenting and tormenting and tormenting, and he will not keep his hands out of my wallet. Mr. Perry, once you're in jail, I will never be broke again. Most likely, not ever will I be broke again. So what do you think I want? I won't be peeped on anymore. I won't be hacked anymore. There won't be any more problems that are ridiculous that you caused. There won't be any more, let's trick her into this and let's trick her into that. It's over. You know, I never cry. I know that you do this, like you like to watch women cry. And everybody's like, she never cries. How the hell is that possible? He's horrible to her and she doesn't cry. I did cry over what you did to Mike. That I cried about. It is rare for me to cry. Because you know why? I get pissed at your crime. And at the hurt you cause. And the devastation. And the loss. Just pisses me off. When you make me scared, I get pissed off that you made me scared. And we all go at you. And we dig. And we get facts. Put the doll down. Because of your doll, you got caught this morning. Because of your doll, you got caught yesterday. Because of your doll, 2-year-old little girls can play with the doll and watch TV. Where's the power in that? If you can't do anything more than a 2-year-old little girl can do, where is your power? If you can't find a way to get a woman to want you, I get that you want me. I get that you think I'm smart and pretty. I don't feel that way about you. It doesn't go both ways. You are being billed $1,000 a day for watching me in my house, broadcasting me all over the internet and breaking it in while you starve me to death, and plus $2,000 a day for doing it without my consent. Lucky asked me about a forged marriage license. This man said, I came to see you for your husband, the senator from Texas. Don't go into a courtroom and deny coming to Oklahoma, misrepresenting my relationship with you. If you forged my name to a document, you have no marriage. You have a forgery. And you got guys making fun of you. You gonna put them in jail too? If that's all you have to do to be married these days, I'm married to Jennifer Aniston. What a Looney Tune. You gonna put that guy in jail too? You're gonna put everybody in jail who thinks you're nutty? There was a guy from Sapulpa that came into Lady Godiva's. And I introduced myself to him, and he goes, oh, I know who you are. You're the one Senator Wackadoo's after. I feel so bad for you. I know he's caused you a lot of suffering. Let's go get a lap dance. I'm not going to get lap dances from anybody else tonight, just you. Because I feel so bad for what you're going through. I want you to forget about it. Let's joke around. Let's make you some money. And you have a nice night. People feel bad for me because of what you're putting me through. And you need to be honest in a courtroom and quit lying. Because under penalty of perjury, 5 years in prison minimum per count. Don't contact me. I don't like it. Don't contact me. I don't like it. Don't contact me. I don't like it. Listen, write it down. I don't care what you think. You weren't asked. I don't want to talk to you. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. If you want to talk to me and you want to explain what you've done, you call Marcus Harper at Tulsa Police. And you schedule an interview and you waive your right to counsel and let him Mirandize you. And I'm going to come down there and you're going to tell me why you've done all this stuff to people. Criminal stuff. Why did you kill Lucky or cause him to be killed? And why did you suborn perjury and not let me testify for Mike Neely? Your guy, I'm quoting your guy. Any idiot can see she's telling the truth, Charles. Not genius. You don't have to have the IQ of 800 to see she's telling the truth, Charles. Any idiot can see she's telling the truth. And had the jury heard her say what I heard her say, he would be home. They would have never found him guilty. I didn't know you had it in you to be that cruel. To do that to this man. To ruin and rob his future. By keeping her from testifying. You suborned perjury. You have a thing with that. You have six things with that about to hit you between the eyes. In a different courtroom, Your Honor, make sure you get all the facts. Before you grant anything. When Mr. Perry claims he's the victim, he's not. But for his crime, he wouldn't be called names like, you're the one Senator Wackadoos after. We're all sitting here watching it. It's horrible. I'm going to try to make it up to you as much as I can. Because I feel horrible for what you're going through. And there's nothing I can do. I feel helpless. Do you know other people have said that to me? You going to put them in jail too? You going to accuse them of harassing you? It's 9 pages of phone calls. That's not harassment. My service got sick and tired of taking them. They just it just went to voicemail. 9 pages of listings of number after number after call after call after call. And then there was more than that. We just finally quit getting it. Philip has it. Mallory has it. You want to put me in jail? We're going to show that. You like putting people in jail to shut them up. Mr. Powell was recorded. We got to find a way to just get her off the internet. Why, Mr. Powell? What do you have to hide? What'd you do? She torpedoed my case. The thing is, Mr. Powell, you were ignorant on fact. You didn't have a case. There was no crime. You should have looked into it. We look. We dig. Anybody else can say we don't look at evidence. We do. We stop crime. We don't perpetrate it. We stop it. No one's done that more than we have. But I'm going to tell you something. It gets easier to get information like this when you contact me, Mr. Perry, when you play with your fucking doll. Instead of acting like a real man and go work. If you want to know how to get a woman to like you, go see a shrink. When you contact me, when you peep on me, when you hack me, when you invade my privacy, when you get your hands on my wallet, it's easier to get the stuff, David Robertson. How do we get her out of Oklahoma? I'm going to take her car so she can't work. Well, she can walk. I heard you. I heard you talking to Lynn and Kathy. Don't give her money. We need her broke. We can't have her fighting us in court. You were recorded. Because I told my guys before. What I'm going to do is call Lynn and Kathy and ask for that money that was mine. I should have been giving it to me in 2007. That was my money. They kept it from me. That's conversion. Grand larceny with intent to coerce. Conversion with intent to coerce. Duly noted for the record. So if you don't like getting told on and caught and recorded and told, it's hard to tell. What are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of this? Charles, I've called Fabian a couple of times. I've talked to him. I don't call you. You're the wannabe, not the wanted one. If that hurts your feelings and you feel like you're the victim of crime and you want to go into a courtroom and under oath swear that you're telling the truth, that you're the victim and you didn't do anything to provoke, go ahead. Do it. I dare you. Because we got other evidence showing that's not true. And it's going to hit you between the eyes in a different courtroom and you're going to wish I hadn't done that. Same thing with Mike Neely's. Listen, we're dealing with that. He's not going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Did you know my guys went into, I'm not going to say where and when, Cynthia and Mike have suffered. We don't want to go through the whole trial and then sentencing and then restitution and make them wait. We want a savings account put aside for them right now. When Perry's arrested, they get that money right away. That's what they think of me and Mike, what you've put us through. Do you understand? There was a lot more to that conversation I'm not going to divulge. But that request was made for Mike Neely, not just me. Because everybody's watching you cause suffering. And now the question's been asked, can we put money in a savings account for those two now? For what they've been through? And then they get it as soon as arrests are made? Can't do it now. Charles has his hand. Charles, these guys are all up in her bank accounts all the fucking time. So they can see where money's coming in. They'll find us. We don't need that right now. It's a need to know. That request was made for Mike Neely. So what do you think that this judge knows? That your judge that you go in front of and claim you're a victim? What do you think? Why is there a difference? You better watch out. There's billions of dollars being poured into fighting sexual harassment, sexual exploitation, sex trafficking, torment, torture, and starvation of women and children. When you're in jail, I won't be broke ever again. So what do you think I want? I won't be threatened ever again. I won't be tormented ever again. I won't be tortured ever again. There won't be any more problem after problem after problem after problem Mr. Perry made where I got to drop everything I'm doing and I got to deal with some crisis. Every day is something. I won't have to worry, is my car going to have oil in it or is he going to drain it all out? Is he going to have somebody run into me today and I got to file another insurance claim? He's going to have my car towed and sold before I figure out it's not legal? What problem will it be today? Or am I going to go to work and come home and get a glass of milk that's laced with something and die? Is he going to come walking in and out of my house and just help himself to my shit when I'm not home? And my guys that watch my home like a hawk are telling me they got in your house again today. Help themselves to your shit. Your credit card's gone. Report it's stolen. Go check it. He took it. See? Your social security card's gone. He took it. You better watch out. You got a machine against you, David. If you're mafia, you should have been smart enough to figure out that you pick your battles. This is a machine. Billions of dollars poured into stopping what you're doing. You can't get a date with me, Charles. You can't be normal. I don't want a guy that peeps, hacks, torments, tortures, starves. Not my thing. Brandon doesn't act like that. He gets more tail in a week than you'll have all your life. So if people make fun of you, then put all of them in jail. Because a lot of people make fun of you. You have no idea. You're very, very much an embarrassment. And nobody can figure out why you're not embarrassed. No one can figure that out. Why is he not embarrassed? Because everybody else is. Now, please stop contacting me. When you contact me, it's easier to get what you just said. When you peep and hack and cause a problem and get your hands in my wallet, it's easier to get what you just said. I want the number. How many times were you guys caught before you met me? How many after? And Your Honor, respectfully, please make sure you get all the evidence because it's being gotten by a different judge. And I'd hate to see that come back and bite you in the butt later. And it will. And that includes what they did to Mike Neely. That includes that. All right? You want to fuck with me, Mr. Perry. Expect to get caught and told on, and not a date. You've been rejected for a decade. You've been rejected. I don't want you. You make my skin crawl. That's your fault. Go see a shrink if you want to figure out how to get a woman to want you. All right? Every stalker creeps the victim out. You're operating outside normal. You're deviant. You're going to get called names. You're making everybody uncomfortable. You're going to get called names. All right? You're going to put everybody in jail that calls you a name, Mr. Perry? You're going to claim you're a victim? When you play with your doll, you piss me off and you got caught more. Do you understand? Put the doll down and go be a man. Stop embarrassing yourself and everybody else. People are very disturbed by what you're doing. That's why you get caught. And that's why you get told on. Put it together in your head. Get some help because you're causing a lot of repeat. Keep up with everybody else. Stop making everybody repeat the same thing over and over and over and over because you're pissing everybody off. Stop. Please go be normal. Please act like a man. And then you might get a woman to want you.